Ian Rappaport all of a sudden comes out of nowhere like 3 days before the draft and says, I don't even think they're taking running back in the first round. I think they're going to not only take a receiver, but potentially even move up for one. Welcome back to another episode of the Broncos Avenue podcast. I'm your host, Amir Farrell, with my co-host, Evan Petruk, to discuss some very interesting Broncos news and rumors that have been popping up over the last 24, even last 12 hours or so. You guys are watching this on Tuesday, April 22nd. There's officially 48 hours remaining until the 2025 NFL Draft kicks off. Super excited, man. The time we were just talking about it before the show, the time is flying by. We're already here, basically. It's officially draft week. And you know what happens on draft week? Smoke screens, and even more smoke screens. Now, we're going to dive into at least like 3-4 reports today from guys like Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, Daniel Jeremiah on some interviews, podcasts that they're going on, and kind of giving some tidbits on what the Broncos are going to do with their first-round pick. Will it be tight end? Will it be running back? Will it be wide receiver? We're going to give our thoughts on what is true, what is false, which reports really are smoke screens and which aren't. But Evan, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Work's picking up. We're getting a little bit busy there, but I can't say I'm excited about work like I am excited about this draft that's coming up. So,
Yeah, it's like
uh,
Christmas.
yeah, man, we're blessed to be in the position we are and get to talk about this, and especially me. And it's all building up. All this hard work we've been putting in is all building up to this moment on Thursday. So I'm really excited, man.
Absolutely. Very, very blessed. Love that you say that. Don't say that enough, man. Very grateful to be talking to you guys today about the draft, everything coming up. Let's go ahead and jump into it. The Broncos are expected to, quote, be super aggressive on draft night regarding a trade up for a running back, per Brian Brodus, I believe his last name is pronounced. Both Adam Schefter and Albert Breer did report Monday morning that Denver has made several inquiries on moving up in the first round. Evan, what are your full thoughts on these two reports here?
Well, I definitely think that like I think anyone should do their due diligence to like survey options for trading up for sure. Whether that's for they think Hampton's going to go earlier and they really like him. The big one is Ashton Jeanty, but that's a huge jump from 20 to probably around 6. So I think that it's it's most likely a smokescreen and just them doing their due diligence to at least survey their options going into the draft. But will I see it happening? I don't really know. It's one of those things where there's a lot of believable people that are saying it, and I don't doubt that Denver hasn't reached out to teams,
Yeah.
but I definitely think that whether it happens or not, it's definitely more likely to not happen than it is to happen.
Yeah, okay, so everything that I got from it, this was the exact same report last year when multiple reporters like Adam Schefter and others were reporting that the Broncos wanted to move up for quarterbacks Drake May, Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy. They end up staying put, taking Bo Nix. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. I'm gonna be honest, I think this is a complete smokescreen. I don't even think they're taking running back in the first round. So you guys already know my thoughts on that. I think the fact that everyone thinks they're super aggressive to go trade up for a running back is, I'm not going to say it's ridiculous. I do think, like you said, perfectly said, I think they would love, and I believe Mike Kliss said this, like his exact words were, it would be a fever dream for the Broncos to land Ashton Jeanty. I think they would love Ashton Jeanty. All Broncos fans will agree with that. I know a lot of people in our last episode in the comments were saying they would love to go get Ashton Jeanty, and some Broncos fans actually think it will happen, which I at this moment I would disagree with. Our mock draft will be coming out tomorrow on Wednesday, so be sure to be tuned for that. But our final mock draft, I think Ashton Jeanty will be a Raider at the end of the day. I don't think the Broncos are going to move up for him. This report also could be an attempt to get some running back needy teams like the Cowboys or the Bears to leapfrog the Raiders, our divisional rival, for Ashton Jeanty. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. Think maybe maybe Sean Payton. You know what he did last year? He psyched the Vikings into moving up for JJ McCarthy, so that Bo Nix would fall to them at 12, and that the Raiders weren't able to jump and trade up with a team like the Jets to get Bo Nix. So maybe this is a scenario where they're trying to screw over the Raiders again and get a team like the Cowboys or Bears to get nervous and jump the Raiders at 6 to get Jeanty. Jeanty could very well end up being a top 5 pick, top 5, top 6 pick at the end of this draft. So, yeah, I would also say, what if these trade rumors are in regards to them trading back into the first round with their second round pick and additional draft capital? Like maybe this rumor isn't just about trading up for 20. What if it's about trading up from 51 back into the first to get a running back after you already drafted a receiver? There's so many different avenues and ways to interpret this report. I think the Broncos are really trying to make sure they're nailing this pick just by throwing out these smoke screens. Just because, like, if their 2026 first round pick ends up being a very late pick, like in the late 20s, early 30s, they may not be able to draft a player as good of a receiver or running back or even a tight end at that pick had they not taken that player at 20 in 2025. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, like, they're really trying to nail this pick so that they end up not having to fix their mistake in 2026.
Yeah, and I think that they are just doing this because they're a good GM and coach. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a situation where this is a bad thing, whether it's true or not for the trade up, which most likely the latter in that. But like it's just it's all mind games,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that if they weren't doing something like this, then we would have a problem in the front office. So it's a completely normal thing, and it's almost just another great talking point for us to have. Just like, I never even really. It's not that I never thought about it, but I never really looked at that as like how you interpreted it. Like it could be trading back into the first round or the early second. Like I never thought about that. I totally would be fine with trading up into the second round or even into the late first. Do I think
Mm-hmm.
it's going to happen? No, but I think that that's better than trading up higher in the first, unless there's a situation where there is a premium pick and the Raiders somehow pass on Jeanty, and then like I would. We've talked about it in past videos. I
Yeah.
don't really need to elaborate on it anymore. But I think that just the fact that they're doing this just shows how great our front office is run, and how much better we've got from past years where we've had poor front office and poor head coaches. And I think it's just something that's part of their what they do, right? Like happened last year, like you said, year before. Like I don't see a scenario where this is a bad thing, and I think it's completely normal as well.
Yeah, 100% agree. At the time of this reporting, Ian Rappaport just said, like, not even an hour ago on KOA Colorado, that he would be surprised. Shout out to Ryan Edwards for this. He said that he would be surprised if the Broncos traded up in the first round for a running back, but could see them moving up for a receiver. Now, this is a big shock. This is a shocking report, man. I did not see this coming out of left field. This kind of came out of left field. A lot of reporters, we were talking about this before the show, are saying, oh, Marion Hampton at 20 to Denver. They might even trade up for Hampton. Broncos trading up for Jeanty. Broncos taking Travion Henderson at 20. It's running back, running back, running back. Ian Rappaport all of a sudden comes out of nowhere like 3 days before the draft and says, I don't even think they're taking running back in the first round. I think they're going to not only take a receiver, but potentially even move up for one.
Yeah, shout out to Rap Sheet because we've been saying this the whole time, and there's
Yeah.
been a lot of people that have been disagreeing with us. To each their own. Everyone has their own opinion, but
Yeah.
I mean, we've been saying it since the start that Denver's most likely going to go receiver in the first round. So I don't know about trading up. Trading up is a little rich, I think, because the only prospect that I could really see going before our pick 20 is either Matthew Golden or Tet McMillan, because Travis Hunter's going second overall. So I think that both of those guys have a potential to be there depending on team need. Like I was listening to NFL Stock Exchange's full 7-round mock draft today at work, and they had Matthew Golden going in the second round in their final
Whoa.
mock. So yeah, so it was a really weird, like it was crazy how the scenarios they kind of played out. They're really smart. They've been doing this for years, so I definitely trust their opinions. But they're very experimental with it. So I could definitely see a situation. I think that trading up for a wide receiver is a little bit. I don't really understand that. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't really know what the GMs are thinking. So Ian Rappaport is way more in touch with NFL executives than anyone that, especially us two. Like,
Yeah.
if he's hearing that receivers are going to go high in this draft, then I mean, but it also could be slipped Ian $100 bill to say this or something. Maybe Sean gave him $100 to report that. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a weird one for sure.
I do think the Matthew Golden falling. By the way, I don't know if that'll happen, but I
Nah.
could see Loki. Call me crazy. I think Ted McMillan could be one to drop on draft day. I know he's a talented player, but there are character concerns from a league executive, so he could potentially be one that falls. Um, but yeah, I do think there's a little bit of validity to the idea of maybe these receivers going a little bit higher than expected, just because of how weak the class is. So if you're a wide receiver one needy team, you're going to be like, shit, we got to grab one now, or we're going to have to either settle for someone on day 2 or 3, or we're just going to have to wait till 2026. So I think there might be a little bit of a panic, like from team. I don't know which teams are super wide receiver need in the first round, but outside of like the Broncos and Cowboys, that would like go up and get a guy. I would agree. I don't think the Broncos are going to move up for a wide receiver, nor do I think they should. Also, one thing I've kind of worried about the last like few days is I could see, call me crazy, I could see Egbuka going before the Broncos. I think front office executives think way more highly of him than maybe Broncos fans and just NFL fans in general do. So that's something to look out for. Maybe the Broncos love Egbuka so much that they would move up and get him. Maybe even Matthew Golden that they would move up and get. I know whenever that was tweeted by Ryan Edwards that Ian Rappaport told him that on his show, all the comments were the Broncos are going to move up for Matthew Golden. He's going to be the next Jamar Chase in this offense, which I don't necessarily think will become true, but yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. And then the last report was the Broncos have, quote, long been connected to having a love affair with tight end Colston Loveland, according to Daniel Jeremiah on the Mina Kimes show, which I watched very early this morning and thought was really interesting. He does think that Omarion Hampton will be the pick at 20, but he does think things could get interesting if Loveland slips a little bit to Denver at 20. What were your thoughts on that? Because I know you, in your first mock draft, you had the Broncos taking him at 20.
Yeah, no, I really do like Colston Loveland. He's one of the guys I was on before Evan Ingram got signed. So I kind of still would like to have him on the team. I think it would be a great pick if he is there. But I think that the thing I'm worried about a little bit more is if he is on the board and Denver passes up on him, he's going to the Chargers.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have to play against the versatile threat like Colston Loveland twice a year. So it's another thing like that Ashton Jeanty thing. Like, it sucks. But I mean, that happens every year though, right? Like, teams are going to get good players in the first rounds, and there's 3 other teams in the division that have a first round pick usually. And so it's one of those situations where I don't think you're drafting to take him away from the Chargers. It would be nice if he went before and we wouldn't have to worry about this. But I do think that he does have a place on this team. And I think that what John Payton could do in 12 personnel with Evan Ingram and Colston Loveland, and even if Evan Ingram, God forbid, gets hurt during the season, it will have that backup, that solid tight end there. And I actually think Colston Loveland might be a little bit better in line than Evan Ingram is. He wasn't really asked to play in line as much at Michigan, but I think he's a solid blocker. And definitely would not be upset with the Colston Loveland pick. I think it's been very easy for people to mock over this whole draft cycle, Colston Loveland to the Broncos. But other than that, yeah, I wouldn't be upset with Colston Loveland at all.
Yeah, he's that kind of joker type player that Adam Schefter was talking about. I like that you mentioned versatility. Like, you can really line him up anywhere, just like Evan Ingram. And would I hate the pick? No, just because you got Evan Ingram and Colston Loveland, like, bro, that would be nuts. Like on either side, or even maybe sometimes lining them up next to each other. Like, even in run plays, that could be dangerous. Play action, especially. Oh my God, bro.
It'd be like Gronk and Hernandez, just a killer duo.
The first duo. Okay, that's crazy.
I'm kidding. Sorry.
we, we appreciate the dark jokes on this show. I know maybe some fans will get offended by it, but I'm a big dark joke guy. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, the first duo I thought of was Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert, and like their first initial days with the Eagles. Like, I think of that, maybe even better. But yeah, that's pretty much all our thoughts on the latest Broncos news and rumors going on right now, all the smoke screens and whatnot. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Evan, leave us off.
I just wanted to say I saw a comment. I had a good laugh at work. I saw some guy pounding the table for Cam Scadaboo in the first round, even trading up for Cam Scadaboo. So shout out to that guy.
Shout out, man. We appreciate the satirical comments. We really do. But that is all for today's show. I'm your host, Amir Farrell, with my co-host, Evan Petruk. We'll see you guys in our next episode, which will be our final mock draft. Stay tuned, subscribe, turn on notifications so you guys do not miss it. Our very honest thoughts on who the Broncos are taking with their 7 picks. But we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.